we're live.
Don't be old.
All right, we will call to order Chisholm City Council meeting September 11th, 2024. Susan, would you please take roll call?
Councilor Hopkinson.
Present.
Councilor McElrath.
Present.
Councilor Faulkner. Absent. Councilor Hellebuck.
Present.
Councilor Baki. Absent. Mayor Lance.
Here. Apologize. All right, Council, we'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda. We have a couple changes real quick under new business. Chief Mander's no longer here, so Officer Jaboukat will be taking that.
He's just not here today.
He's not here?
He's just not here today.
What did I say?
He's no longer here.
Oh, well, he's no longer here today. Today. No longer here.
Everybody.
Sorry. Maybe I won't. He's not here today. Yeah, you almost got promoted. All right. And we are going to remove items 11 and 12 under Stephanie. We're going to bring those over for review, and we'll bring it back to the council at a later time. So with those two changes, I would look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before we jump into our Pledge of Allegiance, I would just like to take a moment of silence as we remember today the anniversary of September 11th. Just in respect of all those people that we lost, the first responders, the civilians, and everyone that perished after that. So. Okay, thank you very much. We'll do a Pledge of Allegiance now. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will start today with public participation. Thank you, Marty. Ms. Salo, good evening. Just a reminder, we will start 5-minute timer once you start talking.
Well, I had found out through Land and Minerals between Grand Rapids, Minneapolis, and a few other places that the city of Chisholm does not own the property that the two canopies and picnic tables are sitting on. So Mr. West did not do his homework, and this is the detail of that. So they are not sitting on city property, they're sitting on state property. And, okay, that was that. And as far as the permit, the county was under the impression that that was the half circle that was taking place, not a parking lot. And the gal who issued the permit had only been there for 10 months, and Mr. Lund was not at that time, and he'll call me back. I talked to Randy from MnDOT, and he said that's a very dangerous situation with backing out of the parking lot that we shouldn't have got a permit for, with the idea that it gets veteran friendly for families park, which made no sense to them, being that it's at Ironville, the Veterans Memorial. Said that when you have children in car seats, we back out onto a highway like that, especially during events, because that is pretty much an event location. It's not really family friendly. The DNR also stated that you have to be 60 feet away from the water. It's not 60 feet. And then when it comes to putting a structure from the middle of the highway the other direction, it's not right either. So where this and who got all the information to do this, and I would think the city engineer, I mean, I hate to say this, but you are the engineer that's doing these projects. There should have been some input, I would think, between zoning, beautification board and yourself. And the city does own every single lot down the lake the other way. There is a piece of property on the right-hand side of the county road that's up for auction actually with the state. And the trees with the DNR, there was a concern, yes, black ash trees need to go because of the disease and stuff, but there's no reason to take down birch or anything else. You can't do it on Vermilion, you can't do it in Monaca, you can't do it in Detroit Lakes, you can't do it in Virginia, Minnesota. I've talked to many, many people, I heard took a lot of time, a lot of idle gas, and to be honest, I'd rather be retired too. But the canopies and picnic tables need to go. If you're not going to do that, then there will be further action, but not necessarily all I need. So just so you're aware of that, because there was no right to put them there anyway. That we don't own the property, period. We don't own it. There's no deed, there's no title to the city. There's none of those things. It doesn't exist. 5 different people coming back. So I guess now we have that dilemma. Not to mention the pavement and the asphalt that you just put in there, because the county thinks it's supposed to be a half-foot drive-through thing where people don't congregate and party. And they, I guess the state said too, gee, if you have a veterans memorial that a veteran put there that worked for the city, why would they not put those there? put them on a flatbed, relocate them, put benches, everybody's happy, no problem. If I put a house in there because of the elevation that you raised up canopies and picnic tables on, I would be looking at the brown roof tops. That's my view. You have council people that live on the lake, they've got a beautiful view because the city took the trees down. So we're gonna have to come to some kind of decision here eventually, because otherwise there's gonna be further action. Because I didn't have a say, and when my husband was living, the agreement was with 4 of those people on that board that said, there will be only benches, I promise you won't. So I don't know where that went, but it went somewhere else. But anyway, the city does not own that property, which means I could buy it, you could try to get a title for it, but then I'm gonna fight you, because maybe I want that title. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no deeds to that. In Minneapolis, 2 different addresses, 2 different people, 5 different committees. There is no deed for the city of Chisholm on that property. So how can you put something up that you don't own? And if you were gonna do that, even if you own the property, it should have been, the 5 homes on the lake should have said whether they wanted it or not, because you own the other lots. You could have scattered these things. You could put them elsewhere. Put them in front of Ms. Bottoms. She'd have loved it.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Ms.
Okay,
Salem. Thank
fine.
you.
But make a decision eventually.
Okay, moving on. Council reports. Councilor Halverson.
I don't have a report.
Councilor McElraha, good evening.
Good evening. I also do not have a report.
Councilor Oliva.
I attended a special council meeting we had on the end of the month last month. Attended the joint council meeting with Hibbing at the Airport Authority. Attended the PUC committee meeting and the special sanitary sewer district meeting last month.
Thank you very much. I also have no report this evening. Okay, ambulance director. City engineer, Jim, good evening.
Okay, very brief. Just to give you an update on a couple of our projects, we still do not have a date from the Wasabi Bituminous as to when they're coming in to do our mill and overlay projects. When we held a pre-construction conference about a month ago, they indicated it was going to be right before or right after Labor Day, but we've been checking but haven't gotten any kind of a firm date. And then things are progressing very well with our dry weather down on 5th Street. The utility work is virtually all done except what they're doing back in that alley where we're replacing sewer and water. But you'll see a lot of concrete work going in this week on sidewalks and curb and gutters. So things are progressing well there. That's all I have, unless you have questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Public Works, Larry, good evening.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Just a few updates. We're switching seasons now. We're a little short-handed, so some of that workload is delayed a little bit, including trees right now. We do have a couple seasonal staff, so if there's some of those one-off little projects that we may have missed or something, but we're still cutting on and doing a little weed whipping when we can. But those things start to fall off now, so we took down flags today on Lake Street, and we'll get the geese bobbers off the lake and get those all steam cleaned and put away for the winter. And it's gonna come eventually, so. But in that regard, the splash pad is still on right now. We are doing some work down there, but the contractor is just spotty right now with little stuff. So, and he was able to keep his little area safe, and our area has been all blocked out there. So the splash pad's still open for a few more days at least, as the weather holds for the little kids there. So we continue to move. We'll be done patching this week or end of next week, and we'll start on salt sand for our winter stock. So with that, Mayor, that's all I got for you.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Larry.
Library Supervisor, Katie, good evening.
Alright, good evening everyone. I'm excited to share that our call to artists for our new community mural has been finalized, and it's open for submissions. There is a portion of the call out that does include a concept discovery meeting, which is scheduled for Tuesday, October 29th at 5 o'clock at the library. And at this meeting, artists will get an opportunity just to see the space, talk to community members, and just gain a deeper insight on the community vision for this mural. It's essentially a pre-bid meeting. We will also share the feedback and data that we've been receiving from the community surveys, and just also an opportunity for the artists to ask any questions that they have before the final submission. And submissions will be due Monday, December 2nd. So if anyone in the audience or at home knows of any artists that would be interested, please have them visit the City of Chisholm website. We have the call to artists posted there, or you can reach out to me at the library if you have any questions. There's that. And then also, I just wanted to take a moment to publicly thank Andy and Rico. He's probably one of our more passionate members of the community that I know. And during House of Printing Day back in May, we were able to stand down 2 picnic benches and a table that were in pretty rough shape that are located right between City Hall and the library in that green space. And this weekend, Andy volunteered his time and donated supplies to repaint everything in the space, and it truly looks amazing. So his actions just really speak volume towards what can be accomplished at a grassroots level and the difference passionate members of our community can make. So thank you to Andy. If you want to pass that, they look really good.
They absolutely do.
Yes.
Thank you, Katie.
Yes,
Great.
thanks.
Thank you.
City Clerk Treasurer, good evening. Devin, welcome.
Thank you. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the new City Clerk Treasurer, Devin Seigler. Just a little bit about me. I got about 13 and a half years experience in public accounting, and I'm looking forward to utilizing my skills and knowledge to help the council and the citizens of Chisholm. No report tonight. I think typically did quarterly reports, so I'll probably continue that trend.
Perfect. Well, welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
City Administrator, Stephanie, good evening.
Good evening. Devin and I and all of the staff have been working diligently on getting the budget ready to be able to present to council coming up probably the first week in October, I'm hoping. Also, I just want to give a quick update from our previous council meeting when we had Nick here from 30 West. We were able to, the Public Works team was able to go over and video his sanitary line. Me and Jim and Mandy met with him after that happened, and he had to go back and discuss with his business partners, and once they decide what they're going to do, they'll come back to the council. So that's the report on that.
Thank you. Any questions for Stephanie? Okay, moving along to consent agenda. It consists of the list of bills, communications, minutes of previous city council meetings, payroll, and overtime. If there's no corrections, I would look for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. Okay, we'll start off. Officer Brucad.
Mr. Mayor, Council, pleasure being here in front of you folks this evening. Looks like I have two items on the agenda. First is a motion to approve resolution number 0924-68, which is para for our new officer here in Nelson.
Excellent, good news. And is this the one that makes us a complete?
It is. It makes us up to a total of 13, including Chief Matter.
Excellent. All right, Council, I would look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-68.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? Besides congratulations and welcome, Officer Nelson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the second item I have is approval for the Armor BDA portable radio connectivity BDA system as a public safety. So a little background with this system. Anytime there's a new building, sometimes there's some quirks that need to be fixed, and we find things that may not work as good as they may have said they should work. So basically what the gist of this system does is it allows our portable radios to have coverage throughout our public safety building. If we're in further confines within the building, our portable radios do not work right now. We have no coverage whatsoever. So this system basically takes a signal from outside the building, transmits it into the building, and then disperses it throughout the inside of the building so we actually can hear our radios. So public safety concern obviously for all of us in law enforcement, EMS, and fire, because this is our main way to communicate with our dispatch, how we receive and transmit calls. So this system will greatly improve our connectivity within inside the building. So asking for council approval for this system, which would be provided by Duluth Superior Communications, which is one of the main radio vendors in northern Minnesota.
The council, if there's not any questions, I would look for a motion to approve moving forward with the Armor Radio connectivity at the Public Safety Building.
Mr. Mayor, one question.
Yes.
Will this give us tones in the building too?
So what it will do is it will provide signal to all of
Just
our
signal.
portable radios,
Yeah.
and I believe pagers as well if they run off of the towers.
Okay.
So right now we have 3 existing base radios that are strategically placed throughout the building, but those are base radios. They're stationary. They're not portables. We can't go into another room and hear or transmit out. The only way we can do that is on our portables. So it should actually improve like cell service as well within the building. No fault to its own, but the public safety building is a brick building and it has brick interior walls. So as you all know, cell phone service is diminished with that type of building as well. So that's the unfortunate part with our public safety radios is they're built like a cell phone. So hopefully that answers your question.
No, I'm just talking if we had overhead tones, so if you didn't have your pager on you or your radio, that you'd hear, say you're in there somewhere, you'd hear tones go off without your equipment on.
Also, if we added, we would have to add another.
Speak, like the speaker system.
Speaker
Or,
system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So what you could do is the existing base radios that are there, you could put a splitter on one of those speaker wires,
Okay.
and then just add an additional speaker.
Right.
And I know there was talk about doing that like in the bays. So if you're out working or if you're in an
Right.
ambulance loading equipment, you can hear the actual radio in the bay.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
All right, council, I would look for a motion to approve the bid of $17,275.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
I'll second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. If you please turn to page 37, we'll quickly go through the application number 18 for our public safety building. Hopefully the next one will be a final one. If you go to column G on page 37, which is the work completed this period, typically in the past, previous pay applications, we have added up all those numbers that are in the construction aspect that are above that line that I put in there, just below $180,645. And that was part of that, the construction fee that you see is, which is down there is item number 22. I would add up all those numbers above that line and then apply the 1.175% and come up with that below number. The construction, this time it's different because we are at the end of the project. The construction fee was part of the contract with Adolphson and Peterson, and that's based on the construction costs as bid. And that number per the contract with A&P was $192,628 that you see in column C. So if you look under the second 22 item, it says construction fee. If you go across column C, that's the $192,628 per the contract. And then if you go to column F in that same line, what we've paid out to date is $180,362.03. So that construction fee for this pay application is that difference of $12,265.95. So you know where that number comes from, it's just a little bit different. Then if you jump over to the first column under column I, the total work completed and stored to date, unfortunately Travis isn't here, we got no construction materials on site any longer, so that number's down to 0 and it's been paid out. But anyway, adding up the numbers that I do have in brackets there amounts to $9,092,053.53. And if we apply the 5% that's going for the retainage there, that is the $454,602.68 that we'll see when we go back to page 36. But the total number then of the total work completed that I want you to see also that will go back to page 36 is that total work completed to date, including no storage, which is total work completed to date is $10,955,377.53. And then if you'll jump back then to page 36, on that left-hand side of the page, you see the original contract. It was that $11,199,947. And then going down to item 4, that total work completed and stored to date that we just talked about being the $10,955,377.53. Item 5 being that retainage that we just calculated on the previous page at $454,602.68. So what would be, should be paid out to the contractor for this pay application in total would be $10,500,774.85. But we have already paid out in the previous 17 pay applications $10,116,986.77. Since the payment due per pay application number 8 is $383,788.08. And I would be happy to answer any questions if I can, and I would recommend approval of pay application number 18 in that amount of $383,788.08. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I'm not going to repeat that number a 5th time, so I think we got it. I would look for a motion to approve pay application number 18.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. Also, then, we'll change, excuse me, quickly the same exercise. We'll turn to page 41 and 42. Just a quick way so you kind of know what's going on. During this past month of August, much of the work involved completion of the utility work was starting then on the street reconstruction. Such that if you look on pages 41 and 42 and go over to the columns that are quantity this period and amount this period, gives you a good indication where that majority work is. As you go down page 41, you'll see common excavation amounted to almost $42,600. Select granular borrow would be part of the street reconstruction, amounting to nearly $23,000. Our geotextile fabrics, which were materials on hand in the last pay application, are now gone and now are being paid out in full. Those totaling about $32,000, $33,000, and so on down. But just for your information and review. And then, if you don't have questions, we can certainly go back. If you go back to page 40, then you'll see that the original contract was $2,266,700. There's been no revisions or change orders that have affected that cost. So the work completed to date is $1,504,403.07. There's no stored materials, so that's the subtotal. We reduced the retainage again by 5%, which now amounts to $75,220.15. And then less the previous payments of $1,182,827.29, such that the amount due per this pay application number 6 is $246,355.63. Now, I'd be happy to try and answer any questions that you might have, but I would recommend payment in that amount, please.
All right, council, I'd look for a motion to approve application number 6 in the amount of $246,355.63.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
I'll second.
Thank you, Marty.
If you have questions, well,
Okay.
didn't we approve a small change order for a slight increase in the manhole height, something to lift station?
I don't think there's a financial change on
Oh,
I think there was a change in the height.
change of height, I thought it was a few $1,000s or something. Maybe
That was, no, I think that was something else where it was the drilling. I think that was a different subdivision.
You are right.
Isn't there a small change order? on
Wasn't it
the
like a
station?
concrete or something where they were drilling?
Yeah, we had to raise it up
Raise it
in order to
up.
meet
Right.
the elevation. It
The lift
was
station.
an old driveway, and we're building those lots up, so it's
Yeah.
being developed, but
Maybe it hasn't gone through JPJ.
it hasn't. I think we brought it through council, but it hasn't gotten incorporated
Yeah,
into
okay.
this year.
All right.
Marty. It will be. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
If you'll turn to page 45, the following pages, you see the proposal from Woodsett Smith and Knowlton, provide professional engineering consulting services on the Thomasonian Memorial Arch Bridge project. You'll see that it's, they identify the scope of services and then propose a estimated cost of $16,000 to provide those services that will be based on the hourly basis for the actual time put into the project. Again, the city is just the financial agent on this, so we have to take care of processing the pay applications and seeking reimbursement of those costs. But otherwise, the city is not involved directly in providing other services on this project. So with that, I will, between Stephanie and I, will try to answer any questions that you might have, but we would recommend approval of that proposal.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Council, I would look for a motion to approve the proposal from Woodsett, the amount of estimated cost of $16,000.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Public Works, Larry, good evening again.
Thank you, Mayor. First, page 51 is our master service agreement with HR Green, and I don't do master service agreements a lot. It's really not. So I had to learn what it was, and basically I had a couple jabs for Attorney Lindsay, but since he's not here, I'll save that. And it's really the nuts and bolts of the contract. There's no money tied to the master service agreement. It's just all the terms and conditions, billing, all those certain things. So maybe Marty actually has a lot more experience with it than I do, but it's really just a small print of, and there's no money tied to it. All that comes into work orders after. But this is to help facilitate and hire them for work on their $90,000 grant, the storm sewer grant that we were awarded. And then we will also be using some of the sewer funds with your approval for the things that aren't covered. I did meet with Phil. He's that representative that will be administering and helping us through that $90,000 grant. That was here with the council and stuff, and he supported it as well. So this is really just a master service agreement to get them on board. So HR Green has done a lot of work for us over the years. They were the ones that helped design the Central Orange and Upgrade Sewer District, and then our switch over, our upgrade sewer lift station and all that, shutting down our old sewer plant. So he has a lot of knowledge that he doesn't even have to look for, and he's been working with the city for quite a long time. So I haven't actually met him in the 6 years, almost 6 years now that I've been here, but he's right up to speed. He knows what he needs to know about Chisholm. So I think we can save money, and he's also doing work at Sandy District as well, so we can work together.
Excellent. Council, I look for a motion to approve the master service agreement with HR Green.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion or questions?
Are you going to sit in on any meetings on storm services?
Absolutely, I have your studies now that I showed you ahead, so. Appreciate that.
Perfect. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and I hope to do an auction this fall yet, try to get rid of like the ladder truck, get that before it gets cold and something freezes and it's no longer usable. You know, somebody I gotta imagine would really like that ladder truck, so the aerial and stuff like that, so. And I did provide a pretty detailed list. We don't have a lot, but we have some stuff we'd like to move before winter, so. With that, I'd ask you for your support in resolution number 0924-69 to declare some city equipment surplus.
Okay, council, I would look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-69.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Marty.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Katie, good evening.
So on page 70 of your packet, we have a donation from our Friends of the Library. Just to share a bit about this group, I know there's a lot of history and a lot of it I'm probably not even aware of. And while I don't have the exact date, I know they've been around for a very long time. So over the last 10 years, there's kind of been a slow dissolving of the group, and over the years, I think members just moved on to different endeavors or passed away. So the money reflected here tonight is the leftover funds from those previous fundraising efforts. And so I just want to thank anyone that has served on the Friends of the Library for their time and the efforts towards supporting and advocating for the library over the years. I know in the past they've had buy socials and organized book sales, among a lot of other efforts to show support for the library. One of the projects I do want to take a moment to highlight is a framed photo display tour that showcases 10 photos of the Chisholm Public Library that date back to the 1920s. And that project is still on display at the library, and I would highly encourage people to check that out if they haven't already. So with that, just a huge thank you to anybody that's been a part of that. And with that, adopt resolution 0924-70 and earmark the funds towards the Chisholm Public Library.
All right, council, I look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-70.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? Again, thank you to the Friends of the Library, and I'm sure a card already went out.
Yeah.
Right, so thank you, Katie.
All right.
Thanks.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Clerk Treasurer, Devin, welcome back.
Thank you. We have Jeff Stroll here for the audit report, formal presentation to the council. Administrator Scott and myself went through the audit report in detail with Ronnie from School Company earlier, maybe a couple weeks ago. But Jeff is here to present the final audit report to council.
Evening, sir.
I'm going for quite a bit of detail, I believe, and I'm not going to spend that much time with it. We've actually received two different reports. There's the bound one is the financial statements, what I'm going to cover. The other report is it's basically a report that if there were issues encountered during the audit that aren't in the audit report, or we had some difficulties, they would be in that report. Since there were no issues, it just becomes purely boilerplate, so it's just formality we have to go through, but there's really nothing in there other than boilerplate wording. So I'm not going to spend any time on that other than mention what it is. Basically, it's a 6 and 9 page report here that I'm not going to go through page by page. I basically have my top 10 list, I guess, just touch base on a few items that are significant in there. So to start with, the statements themselves, we received an unqualified opinion again, which basically means it was a clean audit opinion. Also this year, because you had received expended more than $750,000 in federal funds, there was a required single audit in addition to the financial statement audit. It's part of the report, but it is basically a whole separate, some extra hoops we have to jump through to provide that. That also had no significant issues on that, so for the most part, it's basically a clean report. As far as the numbers side of things, your general fund has been healthy over the last few years, and you've got even a little bit healthier this year. You're sitting at roughly $11.5 million of equity, and when we talk about fund balance, it's basically take assets minus liabilities, that's what you got left over. So that's sitting at $11.5 million. That actually improved from the prior year by roughly $288,000. So the general fund is healthy. Also, getting healthier is the permanent improvement fund. That has had a deficit for the last couple of years. Even though we spent a lot of money through there this year, all that was grant money. So we actually swung that from a $300,000 deficit a year ago to $200,000 positive fund balance this year. So that's good news. Even though the equity or the fund balance was positive, you really didn't have any cash, mainly because of all the spending with the public safety building. A bunch of grant receivables at the end of the year. That money's trickled in 2024, but as of the end of the year, like I said, the fund looks much better than it did has looked in the past couple of years. So back to the general fund for just a second. We prepare a budget every year, and one part of the financial statements is to compare your general fund budget to the actual expenditures. This year, expenditures were overexpended by $188,000 over what you had budgeted. But on the flip side, you also brought in about $140,000 more in revenues than what you had budgeted. So for the most part, that budget was pretty close when you put everything together. So as far as the good news again, moving on to the water fund. Last year, in 2022, the water fund had about $120,000 of deficit spending on a negative cash account, so it's borrowed from other funds to get that cash balance up to zero. It's still not positive, but at the end of the year, we were sitting at just a negative $17,000, so that has shown improvement. The water fund itself, as far as operations, you went from a $78,000 net loss to net income of $84,000, so that has stepped in the right direction. Garbage fund, that's been stable, but it also went from a $48,000 net income in '22 to $87,000 in '23, so that's a positive note. Campground fund, we showed pretty close to where we were in '22. Went from about a $31,000 net income to $39,000 this last year. The sewer fund, that one, we basically are still showing a deficit in that one. We had a net loss in '22 of $106,000. This year is $112,000. But the thing about that fund is because we were profitable in the past, we do have a healthy cash balance there. So the only thing with your enterprise funds, water and sewer, anytime you get into PFA money from the state, they always push to show net income. And the whole idea about that is, if you've got net income, that means you've got some cash the next time you have a project, so you don't have to go knocking on their door for quite as much money. So they push to always shoot for having positive incomes in those funds. The big spending for the year, of course, was the public safety building. Roughly $6.6 million got spent on that during the past year or so. And evidently we're about at the end of the line there. We've been just about having that finally completed. So very nice addition to the city. A lot of people didn't think they'd ever see it. It's a nice addition. The other, we've talked in the past, basically other post-employment benefits, basically covering health insurance for retirees. In 2012, you had a balance on that as far as an actuarial computed liability of just under $12 million. This year, we got it down to about $9 million. And a lot of that is actuaries change their minds on things as they go along. They say, maybe we can tweak this, maybe we can tweak that. So it wasn't that we've had a bunch of people die off, so we're not putting that much into it or anything. It's more of a case of just those calculations that they do is what they're looking at. They're basically constantly fine tuning, so that was the main reason for that decrease. The last thing is, we talked about good things with enterprise funds in there. The one bad thing that we had is, in addition to the regular financial statement audit and through the single audit, we're also required by the state auditor to do a Minnesota legal compliance audit. And that they have a specific manual, we've got to look and test certain items during the year. Basically, that came out pretty clean, except you did have one little glitch, is you fell short on your collateral for your bank deposits. What the state requires is FDIC covers a small portion of your cash. Over those amounts, they require you to have the bank set aside collateral in the event that they go belly up, that the city isn't caught short. So with that, you're short a little bit this year, and that's very common that every now and then those things happen. The big thing you always got to keep in mind is when the city is looking at getting in a big chunk of money, that's maybe you get a large grant or whatever, so all of a sudden the cash is going to go up. Sometimes it's good to work with the bank to let them know, well, that cash balance is going to go up, so we need to tweak our collateral. So that's everything pretty much in a whirlwind. I'd be happy to answer any questions. If after you look through the financial statements on your own, if you have any questions, we're always happy to answer questions if you want to give us a call or whatever. So that's what I wanted to touch base on. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, sir. Good information. I think that's very reflective of how hard our staff is working to change a lot of those around. So I think Stephanie and our supervisors are doing great work. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along. Stephanie.
Good evening. The first item I have on the agenda is resolution number 0924-71. This resolution is authorizing city administrator to make application and accept funds to the Department of Iron Age Resources and Rehabilitation. As you can see in your packet, what is it? It is for a sign for the Thomasoni Memorial Cross Range Expressway sign project in the amount of $4,757. It has the intersection listed in the packet also. Right in the grant type of water.
Okay. Council, I'd look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-71.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? For anyone at home, it looks like that's going to be labeling the eastbound 169 east of CASA 69 in Marble and westbound US 169 west of CASA 7 in Mountain Iron. And that will be the Senator David J. Thomasoni Memorial Cross Range Expressway. So, if there's nothing further. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item I have on the agenda is resolution 0924-72, appointment of trustees. We'll have a couple resolutions here with Devin starting as a new clerk treasurer. Our first one is for the 457 deferred account plan, to have him listed on that.
Council, I'll look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-72.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Second. Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item I have on the agenda is resolution number 0924-73, the appointment of authorized signers. Again, this is with Devin starting here with the city to allow as an authorized signer for First National Bank.
Council, look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-73.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item I have on the agenda is I was contacted by Dylan Samsa requesting to purchase 2 lots adjacent to his existing lots. In your packet, we have the property details of those two lots. It's not with us here today. And then there's also a map in your packet. His proposed purchase price of what he would like to purchase those both lots for. In the past, what we usually have done is market value on lots that we've purchased.
Okay, council, I'm not about to set a new precedent. And we do have his offer on here. I'm not sure what your feelings are, so everyone else in town that we've done this for has paid the estimated market value.
Mr. Mayor, I'm assuming this is 2,500.
Yes. Yeah, so the first lot there has that estimated market value of $17,800. And he did offer 2,500, and the second property estimated market value of $7,400. If Mr. Sampson wants to come back and have a discussion, I would welcome him, but I don't feel that we take any action on this.
Yep.
You can contact him.
I agree with you, Mr. Mayor.
Moving on.
Oh, the next item I have in the packet is resolution number 0924-74, the PFA Clean Water Rehab Collection Bond. You have that on your, it's not in the packet, it would be on the tabletop there. Yep, we've been working with Bond Council on getting this finalized, and we received it earlier this week. This is going to be the final step of the PFA for Fifth Street. So we're looking for approval for this resolution. Move forward with the bond.
Council, I'll look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-74.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Marty.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Then we also have one more for the PFA drinking water main bond, resolution number 0924-75. Brian has reviewed both of these and he worked with bond council on them.
Council, I'll look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-75.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next few items, I do have a few, Bridget's on vacation, so I have a few that are coming out of Parks and Rec. Next one's the resolution number 0924-76, authorizing city administrator to accept CDBG funds. We have already received the CDBG funds in the amount of $70,000 from Memorial Park that they're currently working on. Just a resolution to accept those funds.
Okay, Council, look for a motion to approve resolution 0924-76.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second?
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item I have on the agenda is to approve the skating rink job description. The changes from 2022 are a pay rate increase from $15.50 to $14 up to $16.50 per hour.
And Council, I'll look for a motion to make that change. Approve that change.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next would be to approve the skating rink attendant job posting. So Bridget's getting ready for winter.
So, hey, Council, I'll look for a motion to approve the job posting for skating rink attendant.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next up, sorry. Last item that I have is to approve to hire up to 5 qualified candidates after we have posted and interviewed for the skating rink.
Hey, Council, I'll look for a motion to approve to hire up to 5 qualified candidates.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Hey, council, next up, we're gonna look at scheduling a working session. Budget working session. Yes.
I would like to look at the first week in October. So at this point, Devin and I are just finalizing some of the revenues and our expenses this week. Next week, we're gonna meet with the department heads, narrow down the budget, and then hopefully we can meet with council in that first week of October. And just a reminder, we do set preliminary levy will be our next September meeting. But by that point, we will have met with the department heads and we should have a clear.
Okay. I'm not sure how everybody else feels about that week. October 1st. Works for me.
Also works for me.
Park board meeting at 5 o'clock on the 1st.
Okay. We could do Wednesday.
That works.
And redhead meeting at 4. It's at 5:30. 5:30 probably would be,
We could look at that Wednesday.
5:30 would be better.
5:30 works for me. A second.
Yep, that works.
5:30 on the 2nd.
I'd look for a motion for scheduling a budget working session for October 2nd at 5:30 p.m.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, miscellaneous. Speaking of Redhead, I was thinking because those other ones that are coming off here, I'd like to schedule maybe do a working session with the council and Redhead committee. Maybe we can get brought up to speed and we kind of look over those and some information can come back, so that way whenever the contract comes back to the council, we're a little more informed. So does Redhead meet the first Monday of the month, or just kind of
It's
scheduled?
usually twice a month, but since we had Labor Day, we've stacked 3 meetings in 3 weeks.
Okay.
September 17th, 24th, October 2. And then not again until October 15th.
That works? Oh, September 17th. Okay, should we declare that a September 17th meeting for a working session? Does that work?
We have some other things on the agenda, I believe. Mr. Intelligent is coming to present. Oh, it's not, okay. Would we want to just have the committee come here and meet with the council on the 17th? Here, it's 4 o'clock. Normally it's at Bar Engineering.
Okay.
But we could do it here in the chambers, so over there.
Yeah, we what? Why don't we do it at the Public Safety Building in the
Oh.
conference hall?
Okay.
Does that work?
Mm-hmm.
4 p.m. on the 17th.
I can make 4 p.m. on the 17th work.
Yep.
All right, look for a motion.
Make-
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support?
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thank you all. Now we we will be recessing into a closed session in compliance with statute 13D.03 labor agreement. So I would welcome everybody here. Have a good night.